porn.
people, yeah, just like other than like the base level porn.
Yeah, no, I wasn't gonna say shit. No, I'm getting ads now though. It's really annoying.
Apparently, there's a version of Pornhub you can pay for.
Yeah, Pornhub Premium.
I don't know what you get with that.
Neither do I. I don't know. There's a video on it. There's a little star in the left hand corner. Get
There's a
that
lot of
premium.
there's more videos than I can watch on
Yeah, I don't
Pornhub.
know why you. I don't know why you need a browser's account. Honestly, like I don't like. I don't know.
No, I no. And then you only get one kind of porn. Like you have to join like a lot of sites to be able to get the full.
Like if you get browsers, you have to get like the
Also,
full browsers.
who watches 40 minutes of porn?
What?
Who watches
No,
40
nobody.
minutes of porn? Like a full porn. Who watches full
Well, you
porn?
gotta like watch like you gotta watch the intro to like see what the story is, and
You
then
watch
you
the
skip ahead.
intro or like the interview part if it's like girls do porn where they're like talking about themselves, and then you skip around. Yeah, I mean, you never watch like the full
You
fucking
watch like
thing.
maybe like 5 minutes of porn.
Yeah, seriously. I skipped interest. I don't want to see the intro stuff. I don't
Oh,
want.
I like the intros. I don't like the
Sometimes-
ones that just cut to like having sex. I don't like that.
Sometimes it's weird. It's like, will you tell mom unless we do this? And he's like, no.
Oh, dude, I don't watch fucking stepbrother porn. That shit's weird.
Well, it's not actual stepbrothers. It's just.
Yeah, I know, but
Yeah, but like
that's
the story, it's like a whole thing.
that's a weird.
That's what
thing.
I'm saying. I skip because I don't want to see all that weird shit.
No, that
Like
that
you
I
click on the
agree
videos,
with.
it's like ooh, like stepbrother, this and that.
Or it's like when the
Yeah.
mom's teaching daughter how to.
But that's
fuck.
like
It's I
half.
don't
Of,
know.
Yeah,
that's like
yeah.
when you open up it.
Even though
When you
both
open it
girls
up,
look the
it's
same
like half that
age.
shit.
And it's always the same girl. That's the mom. Like they only have like one
Yeah,
Like
no.
mom
If you like,
model.
there's like two girls, and they're always like teaching the younger daughter how to fuck. But like the mom's like 35 and the daughter's like 25. It's like,
Yeah.
what? This math doesn't add up.
No, I don't.
I skipped those intros.
Were you there when Travis showed us his creepy revenge porn website?
Yes. Yes,
Oh
we're
yeah,
all there.
yeah. I wasn't there, but it's the one with the pictures from high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like pre like high school.
He showed
Has
me. He
their
showed me on
own-
a separate occasion. So
Yeah,
he's brought it up
that's,
twice now.
that's really a bizarre.
He's
I like
into that.
clicked.
He's into
I clicked around it like when I got home, and I was like, yeah, this is just fucking weird.
Yeah, it's like, oh, there's girls from high school that are 16. It's like, I don't need to be on this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, there shouldn't be
That's-
16-year-old girls on there.
Well,
Oh, dude, there's plenty of underage girls on there. I'm sure.
yeah, it's fucked up. I don't know. He was on with me, and I took a minute. I'm like, yeah, next topic, Travis. I don't. I'm
Yeah,
good.
Pass. Yeah. Yeah, that was a weird thing that he did.
He also
It's
like he reads porn. He reads like stories.
There's also like this, it's not ASMR, which I know we've discussed, but there's like audio porn where it's just like
Is it like that, but with porn?
no, it's just like it's not like the sounds, like it's just like a girl like reading a script.
Yeah. So imagine.
And you're supposed to like imagine that that you're like there.
Yeah, no. So imagine Travis reading the script, and him imagine that he's here, and that's what he
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
Like, what?
It's like all like first person, like she talks like to you and you're supposed
Travis
to like
also has the apps on his phone where he could, screenshot Snapchat without them seeing it.
that's creepy. Does he have like one of the apps that like locks your pictures?
Yeah, no, he has hidden folders on his phone that you can't find, or it's really hard to find.
Where it like looks like it's like a calculator or something
Yeah,
like
he
that?
does. He does. It is a calculator. It's exactly what it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
He has that. He also like whenever you're like face like right now, if we're like talking, he'd do this with his girlfriends. Whenever she showed like tits, he would screenshot it without her knowing. So he has like pictures of Jordan Smith with his naked artist laptop that she has no idea that he has.
That seems like
That's-
it's got to be against some law.
Oh, like he FaceTimes with the girls and like just screenshots his like laptop.
Yes.
I did that in high school. But I don't know. I was a phone sex fiend in high school, all into the phone sex.
Who, you?
Oh yeah. I remember that being a thing.
I remember, and this seems so
It was
fucked
like
up.
right when we all got cell phones, so it was like
This girl freshman year took like a video of her like fingering herself with a glow stick, and it like
Hell yeah.
spread around the whole high school. Yeah, everybody had this in our high school. It was big news, and the
She's a
school found out.
freshman?
The school found out, and they made her watch it with her parents. And
they
it was
made
just,
her
like,
watch it.
with her parents.
Oh man, that's so before like this whole like, don't slut shame thing. Like I feel like now you'd have to make like the boy watch it. Like with
No,
his
no, they
parents.
made her watch it. Her like with her parents. It's like, oh, that's gotta be painful.
That's rough.
And like she
that's
sent it
rough.
to her boyfriend. Like it wasn't even that bad. She sent it. I'm not saying it's good. She sent it to her boyfriend, and then like her boyfriend's like his friends took his phone and sent it to themselves, and that shit spread like wildfire.
And she's
And it was-
Normally now,
in high
now
school.
you just fuck with those kids. Those kids
Right.
would be fucked now.
I
think that
remember there was
Wait,
a
Ryan, and
I remember there was a whole rash of kids getting like child pornography charges and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I remember that was a thing.
that was a thing they were trying to slap people with, but it never really.
Yeah.
Because there's no way you're gonna fucking stop that.
I mean, I don't know if anybody ever went to court over it, but it was like
No.
they were always like, "Don't."
I know
don't
some
be
kids got
sent
kicked
to-
off like the football team in our high school for shit
Yeah.
like that.
Like, don't be sending or accepting nudes because you'll get caught with child porn. You'll have to be a sex offender.
Yeah, they always that's what they always threaten us with. But I actually don't know anybody at all that ever got in trouble for that.
Well,
That's
who
pretty
gets
disgusting.
caught with nudes in the first place?
Yeah, how do you get caught with a nude? Like, you're just like
looking at it in the hall, like
looking at it with your parents in the room. Like,
I don't know.
showing it to your teacher.
I would email them to myself and then delete them off my cell phone.
Dude, we had a huge basketball game for sectionals, like sectional champs. And the girl from like the rival high school did the same thing with a spatula. Obviously, like the handle, not the spatula part.
Well, hey, you never
Played
know.
them. And like everybody on their team, everybody on like their fan group had glow sticks, and our whole fan base brought like spatulas. It was a great game. And both those girls
And
left
those girls
crying
cried.
in the middle of it. Oh yeah, they were not. The one
Yeah.
girl was our girl was a cheerleader, and they let her go home.
I remember, like there would always be like some girl dating like somebody on the other team, and she went to our school, and we would just like abuse her until she left. And in
High
retrospect,
school, man.
It's not so funny looking back on it. It's kind of mean, but
it was before the time. I remember I listened to something where somebody like, Frank Sinatra is just like up in heaven, like with all this Me Too stuff going on. Like, thank fucking God that I died before all this shit happened. It was just a different time. It was just like
Years ago.
that. It was just it was just different. It was just different. All right, well, that's not going to be our fucking cold open.
No, hell no.
Yeah, it's a
Are
little.
we-
That's a little sensitive topic. We don't want to get Purdue involved.
no, we do not.
Purdue, why haven't you denounced Larry Nassir yet?
Yeah, he's kind of a fuck.
Your silence is deafening.
Yeah, he's going to jail for
Like,
multiple
100
lives.
40 to
40
175 years.
175 years?
I was watching
That
Well,
judge
He's got
really
60. He's got 60 in federal prison, and then it's like
Yeah, he
state.
does.
He's got like
he's got 60
175.
and he's got another at least 40. There's 100 right there.
All right, well, he's
And-
probably going to get murdered in jail. So,
Yeah, who got his ass beat? Jared Fogle got his ass beat.
Oh, yeah, pretty bad.
but that judge really rubbed his fucking face in it too.
Oh, she did. I mean, which I'm all fine with that. But she was
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, I just had your death warrant, Larry. Here's 175 years."
Yeah.
I was like, "Damn, not
Yeah.
unbiased at all."
No, and he like gave her a letter to read, and she just like crumpled it up and threw it away.
Yeah,
She's like, "No, you don't get to
yeah.
have your
No.
letter read." I'm like, shit.
Nobody's going to be mad at her for that.
Honestly, it's probably messed up to say, but if none of like the big gymnasts came out, I don't think it really would have been that big of a story.
I mean, he would have gone to jail for the rest of his life, but it wouldn't have been a story.
But it wouldn't have been like a huge story.
No.
You know.
Like it
I
wasn't
don't
like
recall
Allie.
even being. Obviously, it's a big story, but I don't
Allie
recall
Rice, Raceman, Michaela Maroney.
being.
those
Yeah.
girls.
Simone Biles came out. Gabby
Well,
Douglas came
no,
out.
Simone Biles didn't even testify. So.
No, she did. Yeah, but I'm saying she's.
And Gabby Douglas like said we shouldn't be like airing this out on in public. And then everybody got mad at her, and then she was like, "Oh, also I got assaulted."
It was a big deal in Indy because Indy Star was like one of the first ones to break.
Yeah, the
it.
Indian Star like broke the case.
Yeah, no. So I follow a lot of the Indy Star people on my own Twitter, and it's all over that because a lot of them were like the first to break it. I don't recall it being huge news though until like 5 days ago when all this testimony started.
The testimonies really blew it open. I mean, I think everybody just knew that he was
kind of.
And I don't feel
He
bad
was
for the
gonna go
guy
to
at
jail.
all, but it has to be gut wrenching to sit there for 5 days straight as 150 girls testify against you, and you just sit there and have to take it all. Oh, that's gotta be.
Yeah,
So
he's
I'm
like a
Imagining what you used to do to them.
Yeah,
little fucking weasel.
have to relive the whole.
Dude, imagine that if he was like one of those like serial killers that goes onto the stands like, I don't regret any of it. Like, yeah, like I fucking killed your family. But he was just like to their faces like, yep, got it
I
in.
groped you.
Yeah, like
Still came.
still counts.
That's fun.
Oh
Like,
man, this isn't gonna
really-
be our cold open either.
Like some really fucked up shit like that.
Oh, no, he.
All right,
I'm
no
not
cold open
saying
this
I'm not
episode, then?
saying that would have been good, but it would have that would have been really cold.
Would have been entertaining.
It would have been on the internet. It would have been a thing.
It would have definitely been a thing. Just like, well, we can talk about the Oscars maybe, but like Get Out being a Best Picture, dude. Come on, we all know what that's about. We don't have
Like
to.
I liked the movie, but
Best Picture, dude.
yeah, no, not best picture.
I also haven't seen many movies this year, so I don't really know what's going on with that.
Dude,
I haven't either.
You know why it's nominated for Best Picture, okay?
Yeah, we all
He's
know.
also up for Best Actor, and I was like, he didn't do that good of a job. Like, it wasn't Best.
Well, he
Actor
cried.
movie.
He cried in that one scene, so that was like a big thing. Like when he's sitting in that chair.
Yeah.
I also saw some really funny tweet. I think I retweeted it. That was like the dad from Get Out, and he was like, "Oh, I would have voted for Get Out 3 times for Best Picture if I could have." Like, because it's the same exact fucking thing. It's just all these white people like feeling like guilty. Like, oh no, we need to, it's not the best fucking picture.
If you're gonna vote, it's Boo to a Medea Halloween. That
Yes,
should win
that would
Best
be-
Picture.
If you're going like brazen, we just need to recognize people to recognize people. Yes, Boo 2, a Medea Halloween should have been Best Picture. Also, I was at the bar last night, and this girl, I was like, I can't believe people are mad about Wonder Woman getting nominated. She's like, I was like, it's not really like it wasn't that good of a movie, and she was like mad. She's like, no, like it should have been up for Best Picture. Gal Gadot should have been best. I was like, did you watch Gal Gadot act in that movie? Because it was fucking bad.
Like it was okay, but the movie
Like-
wasn't that.
Actors.
Robin Wright, Connie Nielsen, they were good, but Gal Gadot was David Thewlis was good, but Gal Gadot was
Yeah. Frances McDormand's gonna clean up that Best Actress award. She hasn't
Oh,
lost one yet. Like they showed like a thing like where the actresses are at like, rewards wise, and she's like way ahead of the average for people who win Best Actress. Like she's she's winning that.
What movie was she in?
The Three
Three
Billboards, the Missouri movie, which I've never seen it, but I know Alicia saw it and said it was really, really good. I was like, might need to go see it.
I was like looking at some of these, like I've never heard of any of these fucking movies.
well, it talks shit about the police, which is a good thing.
Yeah,
And then there's the movie about the 2 gay guys. What the hell's that one called? With Armie Hammer and Timothy Chalamet. I forget what that one's called.
Brokeback Mountain 2.
No,
Yeah,
don't ask.
basically. There's the Daniel Day-Lewis one.
The Phantom thing.
I heard that movie wasn't even that good.
So did I. I heard it wasn't great, so I'm not too. Oh, Call Me by Your Name's the gay guy.
Yeah,
movie.
that's the gay one.
I never really want to see that one. Didn't really want to see the. I want to see Shape of Water. That looks interesting.
Isn't that the one where she fucks like a fish? Like it's like a fish man.
I'm not gonna lie.
fucking
I don't know if she might fuck it. It just sounds interesting. She gets stuck in a high classified lab. There's a mysterious creature. Yeah, maybe she falls in love with it and
They
fucks it. I
fuck
don't
it.
know.
They fuck it. That's like a big part.
Mm.
like
But once
bestiality.
again, it's got black ladies in it, so you gotta give it the nod.
This guy's
Octavia
Shape-
Spencer.
Shape of Water guy is scary.
I think that the best picture will probably be, I don't know, maybe Lady Bird. I feel like that's got a lot of, or Three Billboards probably.
Lady Bird's cleaning up
Three
too.
billboards. What they win the SAG or whatever it was.
Yes. And dude,
This
I
was on,
love.
last night or-
There's like this whole thing. Like people are mad that like Gary Oldman won for he won a SAG or a Golden Globe for the Winston Churchill movie,
I think
just
he won both.
because they didn't give it to like some other person. They're like, oh, another white man wins an award. I was like, if he put the best acting performance in, then
Yeah, like you can't just
I
exclude.
saw the movie; it's pretty good, and he did do a pretty fucking good job.
It's the SAG who votes on it. All the other people voted, like all the actresses and actors voted on that, didn't they? Isn't that how it
yeah,
works?
it's the Screen Actors Guild. It's the union awards.
Yeah,
It's not like
Can't
there's like
complain
some
if they
critics,
voted for
some
it.
Yeah,
racist critics out there.
right. Where you can be like, oh, the
Just
Academy
racist
only
actors.
likes white people, but we'll still get that if Get Out doesn't win every single award. It'll still be
True.
the racist thing. All right, let's do the cold open. All right. Rebuilding your podcast, season 3, episode 23, Michael Jordan episode. We got the regular crew with us: Pete in Atlanta, Ryan in Peoria. I think you said correct.
bingo.
Bingo. Chris in Connecticut, as always. And we actually don't have that much to talk about. I know I always start the show with we got a lot to talk about. There's really not that much to talk about. The Boilers are ranked number 3 again. We haven't played a game since the Iowa shellacking on last Saturday, but we got some big games coming up, and we're going to talk about that. We got Michigan coming up. We got Indiana coming up. We got, Ohio State next week, right?
Maryland and Rutgers next week.
Oh, Maryland and Rutgers next week. So there's some big contests. These next 3 games are going to be big games, so we're going to talk about those. We're also going to do all our segments. Ryan gets to host his own loser segment because Ryan lost his own thing because he picked Northwestern because we all pressured him into it. So
You did.
Peer pressure.
Any-
man.
Pressure is a wonderful.
any regrets there, Ryan?
No regrets.
No regrets. But yeah, that's what we're going to talk about. So, not a big cold open week. We don't have anything happened in your apartment, Peter, that we should know about?
No disasters this week. No.
No,
You didn't
Hey,
let the Butler in this week?
Yeah, what did the Butler? What's up with him?
He's on vacation, so we had to do.
You
our
gave
own
him
dishes
vacation
today.
days?
Whoa!
Wow,
Nice
I
of
want him
you.
to poison your food.
He's on vacation.
Wait, you don't make him eat the food before you also eat it? I thought that was also part of it. He's like your
And
taste.
maybe I need to start doing that though. That's smart.
Yeah, that is smart. We should bring that
This
back.
servant thing all wrong.
As tier 1 podcasters, I feel like we need people eating all of our food before we do.
You never
Because
know
I
if
think-
Anish or that Corey
Yeah,
guy
well,
is
I
going
was
to
gonna-
poison us.
I was gonna say that was I think the Hammer and Rails and Boiled Sports guys, they might have some snakes in the grass, and they might try to what they use in Star Wars. They put that caterpillar in that girl's bed to try to kill her.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wake up with
Spoilers, man. Spoilers.
All right, that movie came out
It's been
literally
2
15
months.
years ago. No, this was Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, that's
No.
old one. This is
Oh
not
yeah, you're
the-
right. Okay, I don't know. I was just going.
I know I'm right. All right, but that's what we're going to talk about, and so let's get on with the show. All right, rebuilding your podcast. Here we go. We got the Boilers, the number 3 ranked Boilers again this week. No movement in the polls. Villanova's still number 1. Virginia's still number 2. Playing what did they hold Clemson to? 36 points.
Yep, 36.
Yeah, really, really wild stuff. But the only game that we have to talk about in the rearview mirror is the Iowa game on Saturday afternoon. I didn't watch that game. I was skiing, and I was mad. I was like, I'm going to miss the game. And then I looked at the score in the first half, and I was like, oh, nope, I didn't miss anything. I think we were leading 50-21 at the half. Iowa closed it down a little bit more in the second half to make it, I think, only a 20-point loss or something like that. But let's just get some quick fire takes on the Iowa game, the number 3 ranking. I don't know if there's a lot to talk about there. I think we all think that's pretty fair, but we will start as always with Ryan.
Yeah, no, that was an absolute ass kicking. I remember Dan Dockage in the first 2 minutes. We missed 4 shots in a row. They missed a couple shots in a row. He's like, oh, this has the feel of an upset. I was like, oh shit, here we go. Another tough game in Iowa City. And then we just put the doors open. I mean, when you hit 23 pointers, you're not going to lose to anybody. The 3-point ball was absolutely on. There's not much else to say. Haas had another quiet game, so that's back-to-back quiet games, so it's something to look out for. But when you're banging in 23-pointers, you don't really need him to do anything.
Nope.
They did get closer the second half, but that's also because we weren't playing anybody. It was a lot of harms, Taylor, Klein, Eifert, Nigel. So that was probably the biggest reason why they closed that gap. But yeah, no, it's just nice to see a team that's supposed to go on the road and kick the shit out of a team actually do that. So it's nice to see that we don't go in there and have, a close win or upset. It's nice to actually go into a game, win by 20-plus points, then get out of there. So good win for the Boilers.
And then get out of there. Absolutely. All right, Mr. Peter, what do you have to say?
Yeah, it was just like another one of these kind of boring conference games that we've had this year where it's never even close after the first 2 minutes, and we just can't miss, and, just taking it to them. I mean, obviously, Iowa's just bad. They're like 1-7 in the conference.
Yeah, they're a bad team.
But, finally got the win in Iowa City, which was that's another gym the seniors haven't won in, right?
Yep, there's one left,
Yep.
Illinois.
Okay,
Illinois.
which hopefully that'll get checked off the list. So, yeah, I mean, hey, good win. Like Ryan said, just crazy amount of three-pointers. We shot like above 60%. We shot better from three-point than we did just from the floor. But weirdly, we only shot 4 free throws the whole game. So I guess when you're just shooting from behind the arc, you don't get a whole lot of fouls. But that was kind of weird. Haas only had 1 field goal attempt the entire game.
Yeah, no, he's had like 7 points the last 2 games combined.
Yeah, but I mean, hey, it's working. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So, yeah, I mean, just beating up on an inferior team. There's not a whole lot else to get into there. So, just
The beat
keep
goes on.
the train rolling.
Yeah, the beat goes on. Is Purdue too good? Are we?
I think so.
We're peaking early.
Yeah. Are we
You're-
peaking too early by beating Iowa? Chris.
Yeah, so Iowa isn't so terrible. They just put a whooping on Wisconsin. Beat
right,
them
well.
85-67.
Whoa,
Wisconsin
I was
is
so-
not terrible.
Wisconsin is I said not as terrible, okay?
Okay.
They're now
Okay.
2-7 in the Big Ten, so let's
Dark
let's go with
horse.
the Jets.
I think they're in the first 4 out. Maybe Iowa.
Yeah, they could be. It depends if they win the Big Ten. Is it Big Ten tournament? They're in.
Oh yeah, they're in.
So-
They're technically not out of it yet. So we'll see.
So they have a shot. They have a road to the tournament. But yeah, it's easy. It's easy when you make threes to play like that without Haas. And I don't really know what else to say because everyone's already said it. You hit threes, you win the game. They had 60 points off threes and almost would have won because they had 64 points. So it was good to see them shoot well. Garza though, with the bloody nose and the wiping it on his pants and on the ball and on everyone else, and what the hell are those refs doing?
That's really disgusting.
Like he was covered in blood. I don't know how no one noticed.
He was
that.
just like bleeding out his nose and like all over his face, and like the refs like, yeah, just you're good, go on.
rub some dirt on
It's a
it.
tough guy sport,
Big
right?
Big Ten basketball, baby.
Yeah,
What do you want?
but yeah, so we as I've said before, you got to beat these teams. You can't keep it close, or you're gonna lose in the Big Ten.
Absolutely.
The
Can't
Big Ten
keep it
tournament.
close. Yeah, I don't really have much to say on the Iowa game. Obviously, I want to talk a little bit about the Haas thing, and I think actually our old friend, our old nemesis, Chris Foreman said, you get what the defense gives you, and if teams are going to decide to take Haas out of the game, then obviously Purdue shows that it can light it up from beyond the arc. I don't know if it'll always be to the tune of 60 points from beyond the arc, but certainly we have the shooters, and that's the great thing about this Purdue team is the balance that we have. The shooters that if they want to take the inside out, we can beat you outside. If they want to take the outside out, we can beat you inside. Certainly with Haas and Vince and those guys going inside. So it really shows that there's not really one. I don't think anybody's really proven a way to beat Purdue yet. I don't think there's a tape out on Purdue of like, obviously nobody's beat us from November, but there's not really even a tape of like how to play us that close. I mean, Michigan did it, but that was on the back of just like some lucky ass 3-pointers and us just playing bad defense. So,
Well, yeah.
And I think I'm still kind of afraid of the press. So if like we get West Virginia who can actually press, Iowa had a weak ass press, and Purdue was able to beat that, no problem. But
I don't
not
think we're
confident
getting.
in Sunday or Miguel.
I don't think we're getting West Virginia until the Elite Eight or something like that. I think we'll be high enough and they'll be high enough that worrying about West Virginia is kind of we don't need to do it yet. But I do agree that if we play a good team with a good press, then that will pose problems to us. But we haven't done that yet, and nobody's even really tried it. It'll be interesting to see what Michigan does tomorrow night. Mackey Arena. What's the time on this game? 9?
7.
So
It's 7.
Okay,
7
that's better.
early game. 7 o'clock game. Mackey Arena. Michigan. They obviously played us tight at the Chrysler Center. Ryan, is there a spread on this one yet? Give it to me when you find it. So yeah, we'll just. Purdue plus 11.5 or minus 11.5.
Yep.
Wow, that's a lot bigger than I thought it would.
Okay.
I don't really know what Michigan's done since we played them. I know they beat Michigan State away, which is obviously a great win. Are they ranked still?
Yeah, they're
23.
ranked. They just got the doors blown off them by Nebraska on Saturday.
Yeah,
That's
lost
right.
by
Who lost
20.
to
20
Iowa.
points.
And then Nebraska is in a barn burner against Rutgers right now.
Which is another game to keep your eye on if you're looking for teams, first 4 out type teams, Nebraska and Rutgers. But yeah, let's just go around. What are your thoughts on this Michigan game? Does Michigan pull off the revenge upset? Do the Boilers cover? Do they not cover? Let's get your thoughts, and we'll start with Peter.
Well, according to the Basketball Power Index, we have a 92.5% chance to win this
Whenever
game.
anybody says
So-
Basketball Power Index, I just want to put in like a really hard like guitar like lick. It's
Like the ESPN riff. You gotta
Basketball.
edit that in there.
Yeah, maybe. But go on.
But yeah, I mean, we're playing really well right now, and Michigan had that big week where they were close with us, beat Michigan State, beat Maryland, but obviously they have shown that they aren't consistent and just lost by a lot at Nebraska. So I mean, I'm not too worried about this game. I think they kind of got like you said, got lucky when we played them a couple weeks ago, and we didn't play our best game. So I think if we come out anywhere close to how we've been playing the last couple weeks, just extending this thing to 16 games straight.
Keep the train rolling, Ryan.
Yeah, going to be an interesting game. The best way to do this is go win at their place, then our place. It always sucks when you beat that kind of team home, but then go to their place because then you almost always lose. But yeah, it should be a good game. I gotta think we win. I don't think we cover that, to be honest, though. 11.5 seems like a very high spread in a Big Ten game, especially against a team like Michigan. I feel like Michigan always plays to their opponent level, whether it's Nebraska or us. I feel like they always play to that level or below that level. So I think it'll be a good game. Mackey should be absolutely rocking, having a big game in there in a long time.
Rocking.
I was looking at ticket prices, and they're all in like the $100 the rest of the year, even for like Minnesota and Penn State, although they're in the triple digits now. Should be a good game. I think they'll get the W. Like I said, don't think they cover. I mean, just keys to game, I don't really know. If they if they want to guard Haas, you just throw it out to the shooters. If they want to guard the 3-point line, you just feed Haas. So hopefully they get the switching thing down, because the switching thing.
Well, that's what I was going to say. That's the other key to the game.
So the switching, they need to get that locked up. I'm hoping they did. And if they did that, they should be fine. Hopefully Mo Wagner doesn't go off on Haas, but they should, on paper, they should not beat us. We should have a nice, comfortable 8-9 point win. On paper, it shouldn't be much of a game.
Ryan, are you betting me $20 again this week?
Nope. There's only one game the rest of the year. I'll do that.
Okay.
Yeah, you just said against the spread though.
Yeah, just a friendly spread bet.
A wager among friends.
Come on.
A gentleman's bet. All right, Chris.
Yeah, so this is going to be a real key game for Purdue because they played 3 really bad teams in Nebraska, or not Nebraska, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Iowa. And so if they could bring that dominant play against Michigan and cover and maybe win by 12, 15 points, then we're really talking about the Final Four type team, a Big Ten tournament champion type team. So that's what you're going to want to see. But I would love to see, or it's going to be key for the defense to stop Wagner and not have PJ try to defend Wagner because like 6'10" against 5'10".
Yeah, PJ's
that
up,
doesn't really work out
posting
too
him
well.
up.
Yeah. So maybe keep Harms and Haas and maybe like Vince Edwards on him. That would be the key to the game. But it's going to be a tough game. I think it'll be close. I don't know if they cover, but they should. Because especially at home in Mackey, that's a tough place to play for Michigan.
It is a tough place to play.
One Mackey. So
I think if we win this year and we're not the rebuilding year anymore, I think a good second name is a tough place to play. I think
Chris,
that would be good.
Did you just say you don't think Michigan's won in Mackey?
When was the last time they won in Mackey?
When they had Glenn Robinson like 3 years ago, and I was at the game. And he
okay.
Ancient history.
Weren't on the team
Ancient
anymore.
History.
Yeah, when like Spike Albrecht played for them.
I'm just saying that was like one of the most vivid memories for me at Mackey was watching Glenn Robinson come back all pissed off and drop like 20 points on us.
Isn't that when they went to the national championship game though?
I don't know. It might have been.
Yeah, that was definitely when they went there.
The Glenn Robinson year. Yeah, but I think that's a good second name for the podcast. Is a tough place to play, but yeah, no, I don't think we're going to cover the spread. I think it's going to be a tight game all the way through. I don't see us running out. And if we do run out, I could see Michigan also making a run of their own. I would almost like to see them go into a zone against Michigan because I think Michigan's just going to try to do the switch thing. They went to that in the second half of the game last time, and I don't know why they wouldn't do that from the get-go this time. So maybe playing a zone and just keeping Haas or Harms down low no matter what could help, but we'll see what they do with that switch. Obviously, Wagner is a huge he's a huge problem for us. Any big man that can step out to the top of the key poses a big threat to Purdue, and they've got very, very athletic guards, Abdul Rahman and Xavier Simpson with a Z. Xavier with a Z.
Yeah, change his name.
Yeah,
they gave us some trouble last time we played them, and I know Rahman's given us trouble in the past, so we'll see. We'll see how this game goes, but I don't think Purdue covers the spread. I know Mackey's tough, and normally Mackey's probably worth about 10 points, but I think Michigan's going to be mad, and I could even see them leading at some point in the second half. But I do think that Purdue's the better team here, and I think that we cover the spread at the end of the – no, I'm just talking now. I'm not even making points. I think we win. I don't think we cover the spread, but I think that 16 in a row is in sight, the Sweet 16. The first Sweet 16 of the year for Purdue will be tomorrow night when we beat Michigan. All right. Any football news?
I don't think so.
That coach left to go retire or whatever he's doing.
The special teams coach. Yeah, that's a big gap because our special teams are so good. Our kickers. Well, no, that's actually good that the special teams coach left because maybe next year they'll just go with one kicker the whole time, like they should.
Like a normal football team.
But actually, before we go into the segments, I do want to ask the question. I know I joked about it earlier, but I do want to ask the question. Is Purdue too good? Your quick fire thoughts, Ryan.
Yeah, how often do you see these teams that go on absolute tears in the middle of the year actually win the whole thing? Whether it's, the Warriors winning 73 games or the Indians last year winning 20-some games or Purdue this year winning all these games, blowing everybody out. Never happens. It's always just some team that's good and lurks in the corner, is always like the second or third best team, goes in there and wins. So
we're going to be the team that loses in the first round? We're going to lose to a 16
no,
seed?
not in the first round, but we'll get to the Elite Eight and we'll lose and be like, good year, but it's never the team that gets hot.
Hot in the middle of the year. You got to be hot like UConn going into the tournament.
Yeah.
Peter, are we too good?
No, that's stupid. Because if the teams that go on a tear, they just win all season long, and they do win the championship.
Well, not Kentucky.
Well, yeah, but, they're all freshmen. So
it's true.
That's what that was about. Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can anyway make that argument. That's silliness.
I just made it.
No, silliness.
That was a bad argument, though. You didn't really make
it going. No one should ever complain that the team is just winning like crazy.
No, I'm honestly not complaining at all. I'm very.
I'm only complaining because the games are so boring now.
That's just true.
We've had one close game in our last 12 games, and that was at Michigan. Every other game is an absolute beatdown.
I know they've been boring. Chris, are we too good? You're on mute.
No, they're not too good. They can be better. But but
they could be better.
I think they're gonna
Always room
They
for
could be
improvement.
better. There's always room for improvement. Listen to Matt Painter. It's discipline and getting better every day.
Discipline
Discipline
equals
fun.
fun.
Equals
Practice.
fun.
Discipline equals fun.
So these basketball games have been fun because they've been playing disciplined basketball.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good point.
So you guys are excited about it. But if you're gonna say Purdue's too good, what do you're back to the people that are like, I just want a comfortable 3 seed and so you guys
Yeah.
out in the tournament. And
Yeah,
I'd rather
so you
take
get an
I'd
out
rather
when
go
we
in
lose.
there, get the 1 seed, and if we lose, we lose. But like I'd rather go in there winning and knowing that we can play well, because the better your team is playing in the regular season, the better they're gonna play in the tournament.
Yeah, no,
matter what.
I don't think that they're too good. Obviously, the Indians last year won 22 games in a row, but I don't think that had any impact on them losing to the Yankees. I just think the Yankees were the better team. They got more hits. I don't think that it was the anything to do with games that happened a month ago, and I think it'll be the same thing in March. If we lose a game in March, it won't be like, oh damn, like
We shouldn't have tried so hard in January.
right. It was that game against Iowa that Carson played too much and now he's worn out. I don't think that's true. So I don't think they're too good. And I also don't really think there's anybody saying that. I think that's just probably us saying that.
You got to start the controversy.
Stirring the
Right.
pot.
Well, what I'm disappointed in is that they've been playing so good. So there's been no chance to insert my the World University games were actually bad take in here anywhere.
Well, we did have that. We had the slump in
Oh, that's
the
true.
Bahamas.
We had the November the debacle in the Bahamas.
Bedlam in the Bahamas.
Bedlam in the Bahamas, which is what we named it. That's true. That was a cause of the World University Games, but we haven't had a chance to insert that yet. Segment. First Nogel watch. Peter, anything on the Nogel front?
It's been pretty quiet. Just playing decent minutes, getting rebounds, and still not able to shoot. So
No, he can't.
No, he really can't. All right. Well, let's move on to the segments. All right, segment time. As always, we will start with our main man, Ryan, and his basketball time. Ryan, take it away.
Woo, here we go. 6 games this week with ranked teams. We're one of them, so take that one off the list. We'll start with Penn State at Ohio State. It opened at 10.5. It is now 10. Some money going towards the Nittany Lions and the powerhouse program they have. So, Steve, we'll start with you. Does Ohio State cover 10 at home?
Yes, they do. Penn State is a bad team. They always will be a bad team. You can never convince me that Penn State is a good team. And my boy, Keita Bates-Diop, will cover 10. He will outscore the Nittany Lions by 10 points, I think. Just him.
that is a bold statement.
That's a bad take, but all right.
Peter.
Yeah, I think that Ohio State covers this as well, especially at home. And the only reason Penn State has double-digit wins is because the Big Ten is just so awful this year. So I think OSU cleans up.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I got to go Ohio State also. I think 10 is pretty low because I think Penn State's pretty bad, and it's at Ohio State. So go Buckeyes. Chris?
Yeah, Pat Chambers is like 8 and 40 in Big Ten play. I don't know why he still has a job, because Penn State is ridiculously bad, and it's at Ohio State, so they don't even have the pleasure of playing in that empty arena. So Ohio State's going to cover.
The Bryce Jordan Mausoleum.
Good. Wasted game. Awesome.
I didn't really know what I was going for with the Keita Bates-Diop is going to beat Penn State by. I wanted to say he's going to have a really big game, but then I kind of went off on this.
He's putting up 60 points.
Yeah, he's going to drop.
He could. He's not good. Or Penn State could only score like 25. Who knows?
Right.
Yeah, pull a Virginia and put up 36.
So, Peter, Colorado at Arizona. Colorado won the first matchup out west. This game's in Tucson. Yeah, Arizona's in Tucson. They're giving Arizona 14 points. So, Peter.
So we got a little revenge game, and I think Arizona cleans up, and just blows them out by like 20.
Yeah, I think Arizona wins. I think Colorado won the first game because that West Coast trip is really, really hard with the altitude whenever you go to Arizona and Utah. So I think Arizona gets the revenge. I think Arizona's playing some good basketball, and Colorado kind of sucks. Chris.
I don't know what you're talking about going west. I'm pretty sure Colorado is east of Arizona.
Yeah,
So
I've been
Uh,
high
you looked at a
altitude.
map, Brian?
I don't know. Yeah.
yeah, so going north. Going north is a little tough. It's a little darker
Yeah.
at night there. So,
It's colder.
but yeah, it's a little colder. Yeah, sure. Tempe could get cold in the nighttime.
It better not. It's going
They're at Tucson, so
Oh, true. You're right. Sorry. 14. That's a tough score. I think Colorado covers 14.
Chris takes the Buffs. Steve.
Yeah, I'm also going to go with the Buffs. I think that 14's big. I think the Buffs have the tape on Arizona, and I think they keep it close. I don't think they win, though. But, yeah, I'm going with the Buffs.
Fair enough. A little American matchup, big game in the American League. UCF goes to Wichita State. Wichita State's ranked 17th, 13.5 point spread. UCF just lost their 7'6" player named Taco Fall for the year. It's my turn. I think Wichita. I don't think they cover that. They've been playing some pretty bad basketball, and UCF isn't actually terrible this year. I think they win by 11 or 12, but don't win by 13.5. So go Knights. Chris.
Wichita State has to stop this slide. They lost to SMU Houston, so they're gonna come out and beat on UCF. So I think they cover.
Steve.
Yeah, I think Wichita State senses that the clock is starting to tick on them getting a good seed in the tournament. A team like Wichita State doesn't have a whole lot of room for error with losses and getting good seeds like a team like Duke or a blue chip team like Purdue would have. So I'm going to go with the Shockers to cover the spread.
Pete.
I would have gone with UCF, but thanks to Ryan actually sharing information with us this time that their best player is out. I've got to go with Wichita State here because that is probably how you can beat them, is just hitting them with size, and without a 7'6" guy in the court, that's making life difficult. So Wichita State.
Fair enough. We have then also Utah going to Arizona State. The Utah Colorado buddies going to the Arizona buddy. Do you know they do that when they buddy up? It's really weird. You have a buddy in the Pac-12. It's odd. So Utah goes to Arizona State. I worded that terrible.
Yeah, that was
Arizona
really
State is 8.5 points. Do you know what they do though? You have a buddy in the Pac-12. You travel with that buddy.
Like on the same plane?
I don't think it's the same plane, but like UCLA.
So how are you traveling with them?
So like UCLA and USC, they both go to Washington together, and one plays Washington, one plays Washington State, and they flip-flop. Both those schools go to Oregon together. They both go to, Arizona together. Like, you always have a travel buddy. It's literally what they call it.
That's a really weird way to do things.
Okay.
Yep, that's how they always do it. Because if you look at the Pac-12 like geography, there's always another team.
You think they play pranks on each other?
I guess
Yeah, but like Washington and Washington State aren't anywhere near each other.
No, neither is Utah.
Oregon and Oregon State anywhere near each other?
Yeah, they're like those two are like 20 minutes away from each other. Actually, they're really
Washington
close.
State's on like the Idaho-Washington border.
Yeah, it's on. Yeah, no, trust me, I know. This is how they do it. You have a travel buddy.
Interesting.
Okay.
All right.
Anyways, Utah and Arizona State 8.5. I'm going first. I think the Sun Devils absolutely pummel Utah. So go Sun Devils. Chris.
8.5. They've held it close. Utah's held it close to like every game they've played, I feel like. So I'm gonna go with Utah covering 8.5. They're not gonna win, but they'll cover.
Steve.
It's tough to bet against a number one caliber team like Arizona State. People forget that they were number one in the country. What did they do? They beat Duke, and then they got ranked number one for like a week.
They beat the doors off of Xavier. They went and beat Kansas, and they just shot up the rankings.
They were like, weren't they number one?
They might be getting votes for number one, but they were like a top 3 school.
It's tough to bet against a blue chip team like the Arizona State Sun Devils, so I'm going with Arizona State.
Pete.
Yeah, I think Utah keeps it close. I think it comes down to the wire. So, going Utah.
Well, you're bad at picking basketball games, Peter. So
is Ryan.
I have a winning record. Pete's 12-17.
I'm picking at like a 63% clip.
You're at 58
like the Boilers
right now.
from 3-point range.
Yeah, I am. That's what people call me.
Anyways, big game in the West Coast Conference, I think. BYU goes to St. Mary's. There's only 3 good schools in that conference.
Oh,
St. Mary's, Gonzaga.
we're not doing the Gonzaga Portland game.
No, we're gonna do the better one of the two. BYU goes to St. Mary's. BYU is actually like 16-4. I think St. Mary's is like 19-2. Actually, 2 pretty good schools. So Steve, we'll start with you. St. Mary's 8.5. Who you got?
Is it me?
Sorry, Steve.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'll edit that out. I'm going with the Gales. That's a tough place to play. It's a really small gym. Tough for the visitor to get comfortable in there, so I'm going to go with the Gales.
Peter.
Yeah, last time they played, St. Mary's won by 10, and that was at BYU. So I think St. Mary's handles them pretty well. They have won a lot of games lately, so
They're cooking. I'm also going to get. I think St. Mary's is going to return literally everybody.
I like how you put yourself on mute like halfway through that rant.
Me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you did.
Steve, what was
myself.
your fun fact?
Oh, that Mormons love basketball. They absolutely love it.
Chris.
Do they?
Yeah.
I'm also going St. Mary's. I think they're probably a top 10 team in the country. So they're going to cover 8 against BYU, who's not ranked.
Okay, and there we go. I'm going to do my segment real quick because I have a phone call to take that's actually kind of important. So, sorry about that. Loser segment. If there was one player on the Purdue team that we couldn't live without this year, who would it be?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Or vice versa. Who's the one player you think maybe we could get by without?
Well, that's hard
That's a
because then you
little-
just say Grady,
So-
Grady Eifert and
Yeah, right.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Starting five.
Player we
I was
could
gonna-
player we could live without, I would probably go with PJ Thompson. I think that there's other people that could fill his role. Player we couldn't live without, I think I'd have to go with Vince at this point, or maybe Haas, because Haas just provides such a X factor of just having this big ass guy that you got to pay attention to. So I think I'd go PJ and then Haas for guy we couldn't go without, actually.
Peter.
yeah, I'm gonna say I'm also gonna say PJ. The team would definitely be worse if he's not there. Obviously, he would take a significant step back, but I think he's the most replaceable, I guess. Just especially from like a scoring standpoint. But as far as who we can't live without, definitely Vince. Strictly from the rebounding standpoint, I think people could step up and absorb most of the burden of scoring there. But from a rebounding standpoint, he's getting about 8 boards a game right now, and we need every single one of those because nobody else can be, has any sort of significant rebounding ability night in and night out. He's the only real double threat on this team. So,
Chris.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say if Harms could shoot free throws, I would definitely say that Haas is replaceable. But since you can't, it's really your irreplaceables are Haas, Vince, and Carson and Dakota. So it's got to be PJ in the starting lineup. Is the most replaceable player. I feel like Nogel is capable of bringing the ball up the court and dishing it to someone who can shoot and score, and Nogel can rebound. Irreplaceable would have to be Dakota, I think, because he's got that leadership in those tough games. I don't think it's Vince or Carson who's bringing that team together. I think it's Dakota who's keeping everyone level-headed.
Is it Dakota's team?
And the
I think it is
lockdown
Dakota's
D.
team. He's not scoring enough, but he is the leader on that team.
Yeah, irreplaceable. It's got to be Carson, Vince, or Haas. Because obviously Haas can do so much, not even free throws, there's so much on the offensive end that Harms just doesn't have at all. Obviously Vince is a huge mismatch at the 4, and Carson's just such a. I know Carson's a phenomenal player this year, but I'm reading articles about him like National Player of the Year contention, and I didn't realize that at all. So you obviously can't lose that. Honestly, I think our most replaceable player, hot take, is Matthias. For the sole purpose of hot take. I don't think there's a good replacement for PJ or Carson or Vince or Haas. And I know Klein is anywhere near as good, but Klein can do some of the same things that Matthias can provide.
Klein can't hold a candle to Matthias's defense.
No, he can't. But
Klein can't shoot from outside the 3-point line either.
So I guess my thing is, I think the gap.
Dakota has a filthy pull-up jump from the free
I
throw
think
line.
the gap between PJ and Nogel is a lot greater than the gap between Matthias and Klein, in my opinion.
But if you're just taking into account shooting, I could see that. But Nogel can bring the ball up the court and dish it off to one of the other 3 shooters on the team.
I don't think he can right now, honestly.
He plays pretty good defense.
Okay, well, this is my opinion. I'm not.
Fouls,
It could be wrong.
Okay.
But
We're
I
discussing.
watched Nogel play,
We're
and I
having
don't
a
trust that
discussion.
guy.
It is wrong.
I don't trust Nogel bringing that ball up at all.
I don't really trust PJ bringing the ball up either. I don't think he can break a press. He can't
What?
do that. So
I don't know if I.
I don't know about
trust
that.
PJ bringing the ball
All right,
up the
well,
I
court.
guess the only way to admit that
if they're
is,
pressing, I do
guess,
not trust PJ with the ball.
the only
I'm
way to
just
admit
saying
that, I
that.
guess, if you put Carson at point guard, then play Matthias and Klein together with Vince and Haas, I guess I could live with that. Is PJ the point? But I do not want Nogel in there for PJ because I just what I've seen this year, I don't trust him in any way, shape, or form. But yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't like to lose anybody, I guess.
No, obviously, there's no good answer.
True.
I think it's a great starting 5, and we're 3 in the country for a reason because of those 5.
Yeah. But it is
Because our bench is not good.
the bench is not good. No, it really isn't. But yeah, I don't know. Picking Klein over Matthias, that would be tough. But I think
I'm picking Klein over
You know
Nogel.
who's another irreplaceable player on this team is Ryan Klein, though. Because you have 0 offensive scoring from the bench, and Klein is it.
it's true.
That's kind of true. That's true though. Yeah, he's the only one with. I think
Kinda like 6
more
points a
than-
game.
Yeah, he's the only one with more than like I guess Harms scores like 6, but
That's
Harmon
been
scores
decent, though. He's
open
been getting, like,
dunks.
0
if he's
points.
lucky.
I think bench player you couldn't live without is definitely Klein. I think you could probably live without Harms. I think you just put Taylor in there and you'd tell him to just go get after it. But I think that Klein's pretty irreplaceable. That was a good point. I think that he'll prove pretty key moving forward down the stretch here when we're playing a lot of games and a lot of days and we need fresh legs out there. I think the Kleinster is going to get his time to shine soon enough.
Yeah, that was my segment.
Good question, Rye. Do you have to take your phone call?
I do actually. It is important.
All right. Well, we'll soldier on without you. All right. Next segment, as always, is Peter's stat of the week.
all right. So speaking of Ryan Klein,
Featuring background noise from Ryan. Taking
Thanks,
off his
Ryan.
mic.
but yeah. So speaking of Ryan Klein, he is the only player on the Purdue roster not to have attempted a free throw yet this season.
It's because he
Yeah.
gets buckets.
Yeah, because he just makes it rain. Absolutely makes. He doesn't
Is
need
it-
to go inside.
Nobody can
Or is
defend him
he
because he can hit
soft
from
and
6 feet
doesn't
behind the
make
arc.
contact?
No, he's not soft because he was driving inside last year. I just think he
That's
knows.
true. Yeah.
I think he knows what his game is. Honestly, I don't think
Yeah.
Ryan Klein
I'm
has
kind
any.
of surprised. I'm kind of surprised he hasn't kind of kept that little bit of driving inside like he showed last year this year, because I think it's worked better for our other players. I think Vince has gotten a lot better at actually just driving inside this year. Obviously, Klein's not Vince Edwards, but
But
Well,
I
and
think that
I think that brings up a good point because I think Vince can drive inside on his own. I think Klein
True.
needs somebody to set him up on a drive inside. And when we had Swanigan, who was able to run the pick and roll a lot better than Haas can, or a lot more convincingly than Haas can. I mean, Haas can't pop out and take a shot, but it opened up a lot more space inside for people like Klein to be able to drive inside. Now you really only see inside buckets coming from Vince and the big man.
Yeah.
Um,
Vincent Carson.
yeah. When Carson gets on a run, he can go inside, but I don't think that's his first shot is going inside.
No.
But I think-
Well, and I think Painter has coached him out of that because he just gets too wild with it.
right. And that's not what we need. We really don't need somebody going inside most games, especially with somebody the size of Carson. We can have Vince or Haas get the job done. So, but I think that it just has to do with Klein's ability to make space for himself, and I think he just does that better off screens than off the pick and roll. So,
Oh yeah.
and we're not in foul trouble very often. I mean, we don't get other teams into foul trouble a whole lot. It seems
No.
like
I said, for the Iowa game, we had 4 free throws the entire.
Well, yeah, because they took Haas away and we just started laying down threes, and you're like, all right, like that's just our game.
Yeah.
And you're not going to really foul on threes as much as you're going to foul when Haas is trying to go to the basket.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, in last year we definitely shot a lot more free throws than we have been this year.
Well, last year was all inside. I mean, it was just
Yeah.
Biggie and Haas. That was the first play of every offensive series was give the ball to
Dish it
Biggie,
in.
and then we'll see
Yeah.
what happens. And I think he got fouled a lot, and that was a lot of the reason that we shot so many free throws was because the game was more inside oriented. But this year, it's so far it's been very, very outside themed, outside oriented. A lot more jump shots, which can hurt you in the tournament, certainly if you have a cold night. But I think we're balanced enough to withstand that. All right, good stat there, Pete. All right. I don't know. It wasn't a very good week for internet comment of the week because there wasn't a whole lot that happened. I kind of had two. I had one that I found in the Hammer and Rails forums that was talking about people not getting over the University of Arkansas Little Rock game, that they're still not over it. And the comment basically goes, one guy goes, they're talking about the Little Rock game, and one guy goes, if we win a natty, I will forget all past disappointments about Purdue basketball. And then this other guy responds, not for me. Historical pain will be greatly soothed, but never forgotten. So I think it brings up an interesting point, and I think Chris and I can talk about it a little bit as fans of cursed teams. Would winning ease or get rid of all the disappointment? Would you forgive the team for all the past disappointments, or would those always still be in your head? I guess would be the question off of this. And we'll start with we'll go with Peter first. I'll put you on the spot.
Yeah, that's no. Winning a natty erases every bad thing that's ever happened.
Yes.
Like that. Yeah, like that. If you win the championship,
that's the take. That's the proper opinion.
Yeah, like if you win the championship, you're absolved of all sins. Like it's going to confession. Like you're good.
Well, I was even going to 10 Hail Marys.
I was even going to one up it from that. Winning a championship is like it's like when Christ was born in the Bible. There's BC, and then there's AD. There's before championship,
BC and AC.
And AC. There's before championship and after championship. Certainly, after championship, you can develop a whole new thing of problems. Obviously, the Cavaliers now have, they suck, and they lost in the finals last year and didn't really seem to be trying. So you can be mad about that, but you really can't be mad about what happened before the championship. It absolves all your past sins and discretions. And certainly if the Indians or the Browns were to win, it would be the same way. But
it puts you into a whole, especially in college basketball, like you're in a whole new conversation. Like you're like, right. Oh, these guys won a championship. Like you're not like, oh, it's Purdue, they don't win anymore. It's like, oh, it's Purdue, they're really good at basketball.
Well, it's like, Oscar, you have to say, Oscar award winner after everybody's name or before everybody's name that gets announced. You have to say, national champion Purdue. You're in that pantheon of all-time great teams. Chris.
Yeah, and there's a reason why they call it breaking a curse. The curse is broken. It no longer exists.
Right. That part's over.
Yeah, it's over. And you can, like you said, you can have another curse to come after that, but you can't think about what happened before that national championship because that's in the here and now. And that will be the last memory. Like, oh, and they won, and then they didn't win before, but they won.
Well, it's like the Cubs when they won. Everybody was like, "All right, time to lay off on what's his face, that guy, Bartman. Let's cool it with that." And I think they
invite him to the World Series.
Yeah, they like gave him a ring or something like that. But it's like that part's corny, but it's just the whole thing. Like, all right, dude, you're off the hook. When the Red Sox won, it's like, okay, that sucked at the time, but it's no longer like defining of the
entire history of
it's so I don't agree with that take that you'll always be haunted by past, especially the Arkansas Little Rock game. Like that really was that team gonna win? We were a 5 seed. We weren't going.
We're gonna get to the Sweet 16 at the most and get blown out by Kansas again.
Yeah, like we weren't going anywhere that year. And a worse season would have probably been when they had Robbie Hummel and all them, and they lost to VCU. I think that probably is a more, just a worse.
Especially because that team is debatably better than this team.
Right. And we'll see what horrors this postseason has in store for us. But I think that's just the wrong take to be like, I'm still going to be mad about this stupid Little Rock game that happened. Now, I mean, I never think about the dumb Little Rock game because it was such an aberration. Like, that's just not.
And it wasn't even, we weren't that good of a team. So it doesn't like, you're like, oh, this team's better. Like, now if we lost to Little Rock, it'd be a little different. But
that's fair. That's fair.
If the Little Rock is a 5 seed, isn't that bad?
No, and I think the only reason we were so highly rated, we went on that run in the Big Ten tournament.
We got the finals that year.
We started this podcast. I think nobody gives us enough credit for sort of ushering in the era that we're in of Purdue sports.
Accountability.
Sports turned around.
Accountability era.
Yeah, it's accountability is what it is. The athletic department's like, if we don't turn things around, those rascals on the rebuilding year are gonna.
We got Hazel fired. I'm fully ready to say that we pushed it over the edge. We might have not made we didn't get the boat there, but we pushed it off the dock and got him fired just based on our at the time probably like 200 Twitter followers and constant it was the hot seat meter is what it was.
True.
Got Daryl Hazel.
Yeah, that was one of our greatest inventions.
It really was that, and who has a better chance of winning, Purdue or Trump? I thought that was another funny bit until it wasn't funny anymore. But we don't need to talk about that. But yeah, I don't think now transitioning to talking about us, I don't think we get enough credit for the era of Purdue sports that we have ushered in almost single-handedly. And it's not crazy to think that this episode and all the previous episodes are mandatory listening for everybody in the athletic department. I think that we are the voice of the fan. We're the
now if they win the national championship, do we get a little something from that?
Yeah, well, we definitely get a ring, I think, and
maybe they retire, put a banner in the rafters.
Yeah, possibly a banner in the rafters because we are going to have to change our name. I don't think that the rebuilding year is going to fit if we win a national championship.
Be rebuilding when you're going to bowl games and winning national championships.
Right. Well, we got that comment at the Crossroads Classic. Some guys like, why you guys called the rebuilding year? You're not rebuilding.
You're good.
Yeah, you're good now. And I kind of had to explain. I didn't want to go through the whole thing. When we thought of it, it was like, oh, Purdue hasn't been to a Final Four ever, and we haven't in a 10-win season. But it's we're on
the up and up.
We're on the up and up. We are, and that is fully in part because of this podcast. And I don't think that's crazy to say. All right, well, that was a pretty good episode. Season 3. Episode 23. You can find us on Twitter at The Rebuilding YR. You can find. Oh, we didn't even talk about the IU game.
Oh yeah. Well, we're gonna
win. We totally. Yeah. Thoughts?
I mean, we own Assembly Hall.
Yeah, we own Assembly Hall. It's not like IU was ranked in the top 25 this year, but they were supposed to be really good, and I was on they're not very good. You got a new coach, new system. It's not going to work out. Maybe they'll be good next year. We'll see.
Yeah, I also think that Purdue is going to win. Ryan? I think that Assembly Hall is a tough place to play, and it'll be a close game, and we'll see if Vince can match up with their guy. And I think that we should pull it out, but it'll be a close game. All right, so that was the Rebuilding Year podcast. Season 3, episode 23. You can find us on Twitter at The Rebuilding YR, tweeting all the best takes during the upcoming Purdue basketball games. You can find me on Twitter at SteveGreco01. You can find Peter on Twitter at Peter_Mick. You can find Chris on Twitter at Boston Boiler. You can find Ryan on Twitter at RyeGuysAndFries. And without anything else, Boilers by 90, and wait till next year, guys.